the chamber and the city went with, for the second year in a row, a partnership with ABC 3340. And I think it kind of goes along with, again, with my message and what I want to share here today, and the importance of teamwork, and then the importance of kind of telling people around the area and in other cities exactly what we have here. And sometimes, you know, it's better to be visual. And saying that, lots of promos throughout the month. And Wayne, is both okay? Okay, I'm mic'd two different ways, so I'm not a preacher, although some people that surround me feel like I preach sometime, but kind of not used to this. But anyway, as I get started, give me just a minute. Before I start, there's a couple people I want to thank. And you know, anytime you're up here in a microphone, it's risky when you start thanking people. First of all, I want to thank Robin Crocker, who's my administrative assistant. Those of you who know me well, I'm a challenge to work for, and I admit it, Robin. And I'm a moving target. I'm not, you know, if you're going to drop in at City Hall and visit with the mayor, good luck. That's all I can say, because I may be there, or I probably won't be there. But I can assure you I'm working. So again, Robin, I just want to thank you. You're doing a great job, and I just wanted to recognize you for that. The other person who is not here today is Catherine Davis, and Catherine's husband Louis is taking pictures, and but she, you know, is in working with the council, and I know y'all know how much a blessing she's been to us, and I really don't know what I'd do without her. From some of the different IT type work and pictures and PR, and just she's the whole package. She's one of the smartest people I know. And again, I just want to thank her. She would be here, but she got sick overnight, and she's not. So if I mess anything up, y'all don't tell her, please, because she's put a lot of work in this as well. First of all, you know, we got a kind of a hashtag. I'm 57, and like to Blake, I'm old, and you know, believe some of y'all may not know it, but I Facebook every once in a while and throw a few messages out there. But a couple weeks ago, I started tweeting. So again, I started hashtagging. So the hashtag throughout this has been making things happen. First of all, I want to recognize the council, and I'm going to ask you in a minute to stand up individually. But working with this group has been it's been a great ride. And you know, before Othell resigned to take his new position with the county, and then with the addition of Will Hardman, when that happened, you know, the teamwork has continued. One of my proud things that I like to say is, you know, we went into office in 2012, and to date, we've had one vote that wasn't unanimous. And I'm proud of that. Now, I will tell you, and by the way, that one should have been unanimous, but it wasn't. So, but anyway, in relation to that, there's not a man sitting at this table that's a yes man. We argue, believe it or not. We get mad. We've been through things. We've cried together. But through that whole process, we'll go through it. And then we get through, we say, hey, you want to go get something to eat? And we all go. And I think that's a tribute to to the way we work together and how important it is. And several of you in here have been elected officials, and you know how easily it is. If you just get 3 votes, you can just basically do whatever you want to do and leave the other 2 out. I refused to work that way, and I'm not going to ever work that way. I just think it's better to get everybody involved and to move in that direction. We'll start with the Council President, Alvin Currington. Alvin, if you'd stand, please. Alvin's in his 2nd term, brings a lot of experience, tremendous skill sets, lots of IT and financial knowledge, and does a great job. So if y'all give Alvin a hand. And it's key for the council president and the mayor to have a great relationship. And Alvin and I have agreed on one statement that if he and I are on the same page, then it runs really smooth. First of all, District 1, Alan Jerkins. Alan, first term, like myself, and I've really grown to love Alan. He's as good a man as there is. He does a great job, family man. He makes me feel bad sometimes because he's such a nice guy. And but Alan, you do a great job. Appreciate all you do. Blake Gwynn, probably the most famous of the councilmen because he was elected at 19 years old. And we'd go to Montgomery or wherever, and they could have cared less about talking to us. They wanted to know who that 19-year-old kid was. But Blake's been a joy to work with, very intelligent young man, very knowledgeable politics, and especially on the state and federal level. But what I like about Blake in representing his people, he's approachable, they get in touch with him, and he responds. And as a city councilman or a mayor, that's what you should. So Blake, appreciate you. Next is Greg Calvert, District 4. Greg, I've known longer than anyone sitting at that table. Thank goodness we got somebody on here that's older than me. So, that way they don't consider me the old guy. But Greg, his work ethic is just tremendous. The amount of time he puts into this, he's retired. So he has the ability to put more time into it, but he doesn't have to. And we spend a lot of time together. And the other thing I like about Greg, if he don't think I'm right, he tells me. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate the time that we get to spend together. Now, he's tough. I don't appreciate it sometimes when he's telling me, but I really do. And Greg, you do a great job representing your district. And next is Will Hardman, who replaced me in District 5 when I became mayor. Will and I became originally friends mainly because his kids played basketball, and I used to be the voice of the Rockets, and I love to tell the story. I won't bore y'all with the story, but I used to call his daughter Haley Hardiman, because those of y'all who kind of grew up here, y'all know how many Hardimans are in this area. So I just figured about this time, this big guy that I'd never met before puts his hand on my shoulder, and he said, "The name is Hardman." Unfortunately, Haley scored about 30 points in that first half, so I understood. But Will is now a really good friend. He's my insurance agent, and in so many ways, I really appreciate you, Will. He brings another addition to the council, another set of skills that just makes us all better, and I appreciate you, Will. I don't have a picture, but our city attorney is here as well, and Ken Thompson who has been the city attorney for many years for administrations back dating to Kenny. So Ken, I appreciate you as a friend and an expert in the field that you work in, and appreciate all that you do for the city as well. So here's my focal point of how that I like to lead, and kind of the model that I followed in my 35 years as a city employee and ultimately the Parks and Recreation Director. Surround yourself with people who you trust and can depend on, people who will work hard, and people who are smarter than you. And that number 3 there is sometimes hard for people to digest, because you don't want somebody to be smarter than you on a subject. But I got news for you. There's people out there that are smarter than you on that subject. So what I like to do is utilize those skill sets, and I'm not cutting myself short. I have my skill sets and things that I'm pretty good at, but I don't have them all. And that's when I get somebody on the team that's better than that than I am, and I'm a firm believer in that. Next is, again, probably the most valuable team in the city are these department heads. And I'm coming from where I came as a department head. I can relate pretty good to that. And I know their challenges, most every one of them. I don't know all of them, and I don't want to know all of them, to be honest with you. But these people up here are just outstanding individuals, and I'm going to ask them to stand individually as well if you're here. I'm going to start with our city clerk, Melissa Honeycutt, with 17 years of municipal service. Melissa Honeycutt. Keith Mosley, our civic center director, with 19 years experience. Our fire chief, Clint Doss, with 42 years of experience. A lot of people think he's my brother because we sometimes act like brothers. Robert Wright, who's not with us today, I'm assuming. He's been sick and fighting an illness. So Robert has 31 years leading the inspections department. Connie Smith, 26 years library. Sherry Baggett, 27 years municipal court. Parks and Recreation, Dale Heights, 26 years. And I guess Dale, 23 of them was working with me, and I'm proud to stand up here and say that I hired Dale, and I made a great decision when I did that. Police Chief Mike Walker, 35 years. In Public Works, Jeff Hollian, 34 years. And I'm telling you, these people do a great job. This next person's not a department head, but I want to include her in this portion is Peggy Burgess, our senior director. Peggy works under the wing of the Civic Center. Peggy, if you'd stand. Peggy just does such a good job leading our senior center, and oh my goodness, Peggy, I love to come in there because they make you just feel so at home, and I appreciate what you do, and it's so important to our community as we all age, and you just renew people's lives over there, and I want to thank you for that. Come back to that. Combined 296 years of experience. You can't beat that. There's not many cities, I don't believe, that can say a statement like that. Here's a picture of our senior center and the activities that that she has on there almost just about every day, seems like, but again, a very valuable asset to our community. All right, so if you're a city employee, you've heard this a lot. And again, I'm going to do something risky here in a minute that wasn't planned, so all you IT guys and Wayne, bear with me. But you see there's 3 logos up there, the City of Gardendale, it's Publix, and Chick-fil-A. And when it comes to how they treat people and customers, Publix and Chick-fil-A gets it. And I think y'all know the difference. When you go in Publix and Chick-fil-A and how you're treated, every new hire that has been in this city since August sits in front of my desk. It's just a formality. The department head makes that decision. I'm just the last step. But they're going to hear this Publix and Chick-fil-A speech. And I mean it. And when people come in to this city to do business, and all of my department heads know it, and most of the employees know it, but I'm not all the way through every employee yet. But when people come in to do business with the city, or they walk into a department, that's how we're going to treat them. And I mean it. And I want to know when we don't. Because that's how we're going to treat people, and you hold me to it. Because it's so much to me. Because we never know when somebody is coming in to look at our city or coming into a department. And that's what I've learned in development a lot of times. And Othell, you know this is true. These people that are looking at your city, they don't want you to know they're looking at your city. They want to talk to the mayor when they want to talk to you about an incentive. That's when, we get important. But they want to come in under the radar and zoom out. And we're one rude comment or missed phone call away from having a business or not having a business. That's on the business side. For the individual citizen, that's what you deserve, and that's what you're going to get. Next is I want to talk to you about public safety, and I'll kind of go football on you. Most coaches feel like the best way to win is with defense. And I see it the same way in a city, because if you don't emphasize and support your police department and give them most everything what they need, then your community is going to start going downward. Because and if the people don't feel safe, they're going to leave, and the other ones don't want to come because it's not safe. Again, I attribute a lot of this to Mike and his men and women that work hard every day. This is one of the proudest pictures I ever had made. And I was sitting right in the middle of every officer. That picture was taken right before the Christmas parade. So, Mike has everybody there at one time, and I'm there in the middle. And those of you that know me, my dad was a policeman, and so I have a tremendous amount of personal respect for that job and what it entails. And, this mayor and council's behind our police department. I think we've shown that in the past couple years, almost $1 million worth of vehicles. You see these SUVs. Mike did a great job, and I know Gene, I think y'all did the decaling, and so you see these everywhere, probably sometimes when you don't want to see them right behind you, but I'm the same way, but again, the emphasis that we placed on, I think we've shown it with money. This is a blue ribbon event that we had honoring them, and I won't go into every department I think every department head knows how much you all mean to me and how much I respect you all and the jobs you do, and you do a great job. And I'm honored every Wednesday morning to walk in there to sit down at the table for our department head meetings. See y'all in the morning at 9. All right, here's another phrase. I love phrases and analogies. I was in a meeting Sunday night with one of our school board members, and we were just talking over coffee, and I gave this analogy, and it just reminded me about today. But it's not about ideas; it's about making things happen. And what that means to me is you can have all these great ideas, but if you're not willing to work hard to try to achieve them, they're just an idea. Any of you businessmen know that, and it's about implementing them. I want to start with a campaign promise that in 2012 we had a political forum for all the candidates who were running for office, and I had this line that I really wanted to use, and unfortunately, representing District 5, that means you go last. So, I got my fingers crossed, hoping nobody uses this line, but fortunately nobody used it. So, and this is what it said: on my first day in office, I will immediately begin working toward removing the Publix Coming Soon sign and replacing it with one now in construction. Everybody knows the Publix Coming Soon sign. Every joke, every little dig with Aldi's coming sooner and all those kind of things. By the way, which I have saved in my phone. Not that I'm competitive, but anyway, we started that work. Everybody remembers the sign on the left. You see the sign on the right. That was a proud night when I got Susan to take that picture. I remember like it was yesterday. And she was freezing to death, and I was putting that sign up. So there it is today. It's been a tremendous success with those additions of Publix and TJ Maxx and Starbucks. Publix has far exceeded their sales goals. They really wish they had built a bigger store. We tried to tell them. We can give you a drive-through pharmacy too, but they wanted to be right there, and that's the decision they made, and they've been very successful. Now on to business. First of all, I'm going to shift gears again. I see several people here that are here in regards to that line I used of utilize people smarter than you. If you're with a firm that, and you know who I'm speaking to, and Rick and Janet, you better stand up. If you're with a firm that feels like you're a part and you feel that role, please stand up where I can at least see and know you're here, because I've missed some. And I appreciate you all. Now I'll tell you, there's some of you in here that didn't stand up, but we're going to go on. But if you didn't, I do appreciate you, and I'll tell you one more bragging point. That's the thing about me getting up here. I get to brag a little bit. So I got a relationship with our city engineer, Rick Nail, who sits up here, and Rick, if I send him a text or an email on a Saturday night at 10, which I'm subject to do every once in a while, or a Sunday morning between Sunday school and church, Rick responds. And Rick, I just want to thank you for that and appreciate the job you do. And a lot of this information up here is provided by Rick, and I want to thank you for that. He works with LBYD. Lots of ribbon cuttings throughout the past year. That's been just a real blessing. One want to talk to you now about a few success stories, and these success stories are important as we recruit new business. Tractor Supply is about a 2-year project from start to finish. That's the other thing, is none of this stuff moves fast, and it drives me crazy sometimes, but you just have to kind of play it out. But Tractor Supply, #1 in their district immediately. You know, Gardendale's not really considered a farm town like some of these places, but our community has really supported them. Express Oil, many of you probably don't know, but we preach it every day when we get the opportunity. Express Oil does so much business. They're #1 in car counts in the southeast that come through there. That includes Metro Atlanta. Those kind of stats are strong. And we utilize them to the best of our ability. Panera Bread, #1 in sales for the first week in the history of any opening in the state of Alabama. The history. Top 10 of any first week of sales in the United States of any Panera opening in history. Buffalo Wild Wings. And I see Sean standing in the back. And before that, Sean, I appreciate what you do, brother, the way you've jumped into this community and supported us, and everybody loves you and your team, and y'all are so valuable to this city. And they're a success story. You know, we share their numbers the best we can legally. And but they're good. But they're good a lot because of Sean and the way he leads that team. And I appreciate you for that, Sean. But Buffalo Wild Wings, another stat, 2 years in a row. Top sales in the country on New Year's Eve, 3, 2. I can't see that far. My bifocals don't go that far. 2 years in a row. #1 in sales on New Year's Eve night, #2 in sales. That's what he was doing. Second only to Times Square. Now, when you can say New York City #1, Gardendale, Alabama #2, I guess that's not bad. One of our new developments coming out of the ground, and Kerry McAdam is sitting in the back of the room. He's the developer of this. I've grown a relationship with Kerry. Kerry's another one of these people that, and I'm the same way. He'll send me a text at 11 o'clock on a Saturday night, and he'll get one back from me about 11:02 usually, Kerry. So, you know, we're a lot like that. But Kerry built that Burger King, one of the highest sales per square foot in the history of any Burger King in the United States. He's developing that center next to it. And buddy, we're proud to throw this logo up there, and we should see that opening hopefully in June. Their neighbor will be T-Mobile. Proud of that. Louis, I know Catherine's proud of that because she says she's T-Mobile. So again, a great national tenant. Back to that, anybody you know looking to do business, Kerry, would you stand in the back, please, just where people know who you are? And he still has 2,500 square feet in that building, and that can be with 1 or 2 tenants. So I will tell you, it's not cheap because it's in a prime spot. But Shrimp Basket did it, T-Mobile did it. Y'all help spread the word. The next development is the one right across from Publix on Odom Road. Is Chris Galden by chance in here? Okay, Chris is developer here. Right behind the Fieldstown welcome sign. This is what you see today in regards to dumpsters, and not very nice. They're beginning the work now to transform it into that. New sign, Aspen Dental, and another answer to a request in Pet Supermarket. A lot of people wanted a pet store, so we're excited about that. You'll see that beginning any day. This partnership with ABC 3340 that I was speaking about earlier, and we did several spots in conjunction with the chamber. It was kind of a three-way street there. We did a focus on local restaurants at our place. We did the Raymond Dawson Playground of Miracles, the Castle Pines Golf Course and Cafe. And Tom Duran, are you here today? He's probably serving lunch. So anyway, he's opened a cafe there. We did a promo with that, and Dewey Barber and Scott Barber are so valuable to our town. And you know, Mr. Barber, everybody loves Mr. Barber, and so please support him and that golf course. Business success, Buffalo Wild Wings, and you know, they had to get Nicole and I chowing down on hot wings. And then a segment on new residential construction with Harris Doyle Homes down at Fieldstown Crossings. Others about UAB Medical Office Building, City Hall, real estate sales, Gene Deason and Keller Williams. Liz doing a segment on locating your business in Gardendale, boutiques in Gardendale with Stella's, the Greater Gardendale Chamber of Commerce, and then events in Gardendale with Jeff Dennis speaking. Jeff's not here. Again, he's running his store, but again, Jeff, kind of like Sean, so important to the community, so supportive, and a good friend. And please remember them as Mindy is battling cancer, and you know, they're in our prayers. Before I go to organizations, I want to come back to this slide. So here we go, risky. So I'm going to pull out my old iPhone, and I want y'all to hear something. And this makes a mayor proud. Anyway, so hopefully this works.
This is Beulah Garner. I live at 317 Donna Drive. The men from the sanitation department were picking up brush across the street from my house, which they do an excellent job. They do mine, and they're doing the same over there. But I had a couple of 3 rocks that I couldn't pick up. They're just things you can do with your hands, but when you're 80-something, you can't get it done. Anyway, I asked one of the young men if they'd just move those rocks about 3 or 4 feet from me. They were so gracious to do so. I appreciate it, and I wanted to let you know they're excellent workers. Thank you so much.
Hey, Louie, could you work your way up here, please, for a picture? And Edgar, if you and Louie would come by just a minute, please. These are 2 guys that, you know, I worked in a different part of the department for many years, but I knew them well, and they were friends and buddies, and I got that. Robin, did I get that yesterday or the day before? And if y'all would come on up here on stage, please. And with this image, I couldn't have had a phone call that helped me spread this message better than this. And publicly, I want to, first of all, shake your hands. Good job, brother. And tell y'all how much I appreciate you. But, you know, and I'll tell you, and because I know the requirements and the laws involved in this. Y'all could have told that lady every reason why you couldn't do that. Ma'am, it's outside the right of way. Ma'am, I'm too hot. Ma'am, I'm too tired. Anything. But y'all did exactly the way I want you to. And I want to thank you in front of all these people and recognize you and help get a word out to all the employees that these guys know the Publix and Chick-fil-A way, and that's how we're going to do it. Again, thank y'all. I'm going to have my picture made, y'all. Appreciate y'all. I'll get my picture made with you real quick. That'll be a next year's slideshow. Go back since I shifted gears. I better get fast tracking now. I should have known I couldn't do this as fast as I wanted to. Organizations, so key to our community. The Chamber of Commerce and the board and Liz being the leader there, and I told you about Brittany. Appreciate the Chamber and all these roles that they do. All of these organizations, starting with the Arts Council, the Gardendale Arts Council. I love this picture because they're serving, and that's what they do for the community. The Historical Society, and I don't know if Mr. Dooley is here today or not, but so important with all of his team as working with the city. They have the museum now, and we're able to bring back and let other people see things we're proud of. The Civitans. It's one of my favorite projects they ever did was that smiley face that they paid for over at our Miracle Field. Our Beautification Commission, who works hard to beautify the city and make it look better. There is one woman in that commission that stays after me, and I can never do enough, and we need this and we need that, and she stays on me, and I do my best, but sometimes I just have to say, Mama, I can't do all that. So my mother's here today, and so again, appreciate her. And our Rotary Club that several of you are part of, and one of their projects has been Cornerstone Ranch, of course, lots at the Miracle Field as well, but so important in being a part of our community. Gardendale City Schools, the board, and I'm going to start with Patrick Martin. Patrick, Dr. Martin, I appreciate you as a friend and the leadership that you've taken here in some tough situations. And again, I thank you for all your hard work and the way you've conducted yourself, and Bill and Randy and Amy, and is that the whole central office staff, I hope? So anyway, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all's friendships and the way y'all carried on. And this was a great day when we cut the ribbon on their office. This board that we appointed, starting with Chris Seagroves, just an outstanding leader as the leader of that organization. Works at Alabama Power, tremendous amount of respect, tremendously hard worker. Karen White, former school teacher, very good friend of mine, just does a great job in all of her roles. Dick Lee, and if you live around Gardendale, you don't have to say a whole lot about Dick Lee and his knowledge of finance and the banking industry and how valuable he is. Chris Lucas, another great addition to that team. He's an attorney for BBVA Compass, a good friend, got kids in our programs. And Michael Hogue, Dr. Michael Hogue, the head of pharmacy, probably got another title by now. But all these people live here in Gardendale. In my mind, the importance of having your own city school system with local control and a local board that you're here with every day. And I think most of you know our situation. It's always been the intent of Gardendale leadership that avenues exist for all students in the greater Gardendale area to attend the schools. We continue to maintain extreme optimism about what an outstanding school system Gardendale City Schools can become. We all know that. We value and appreciate the community's patience as we continue to move through this process. It's been hard on everybody. It's been hard on that board. It's been hard on these elected officials. It's been hard on these parents that are in the unknown areas. But I do appreciate your patience that you've had in this process, and we're on track with the timeline the judge set forth in the beginning, and look forward to the day when we can support the students of Gardendale City Schools. Nothing's changed in mine and the council's mind that doesn't say exactly what I said. But right now it's up to the federal judge, and hopefully we'll know soon. Another important organization, and even though it's just once a year, Kathleen Phillips, works on it year round. I know it. I used to have to work with her all the time as the Park and Rec director. And I would wonder, why are we worrying about the Magnolia Festival in November? Well, that's why it's so good. And you do a great job. I know you got several key members of your team that make those happen. Again, that's April 22nd and 23rd. The Magnolia Festival, this is the Super Friends Run. Is that correct? That's on April 23rd at 7. We're having a cornhole tournament this Saturday at 10 a.m. Registration begins at 8:30. Anyone that wants to play and is okay with finishing second, that's fine. Clint Dawson and I are on the same team. And so we welcome your competition. Improvements and expansion. A lot of things now we're proud of. This expansion of the kiddie park that our Parks and Rec director, Dale Heitch, did a great job on. Just a tremendous addition. That park's so old that I worked on it back in the 70s. So it doesn't look like it now. So we're really proud of that. Really proud. And anyone that's got a small child or a grandchild with these new restrooms and they're inside the fence instead of you having to go out to the parking lot, great addition. The Raymond Doss Playground. And I still can't hardly talk about it, but you know, Mr. Doss has been gone now a couple years. We sat in the living room the morning after he died. They was talking about in lieu of flowers, and I was there with Clint and Benny, and we started talking, and it all goes back to you can have this idea, but if you're not willing to work for it, sometimes it won't happen. A lot of people were willing to work for it. This is a picture where we broke the ground. This is the picture of the way it looks today. And that wasn't done with some big corporate sponsor. It was a lot of $10 and $20 and $100 bills at a time. Now, some organizations, like I mentioned before, they kicked in some good money. But just seeing that happen and knowing it's in memory of such a great man that's so loved in this community, it makes you really proud. We had a ceremony a couple weeks ago at a council meeting. I want to talk to you about how one person can make a difference. If they're willing to work, so many people aren't willing to work. They just won't talk about it. But and you know, most people would think her name is Beatrice Johnson. Well, Wendell, you know, when she used to come to the council meeting all the time, she referred to herself as Beatrice Johnson. So when I was talking about her the other day, I didn't know if her name was Beatrice or Beatrice. So I just took the safe route and said Beatrice Johnson. But this lady was so active in her community, in the Newcastle community. She came to most city council meetings. She always did it professionally, but she was informed. And I think Kenny and Wendell, y'all agree, if it wasn't for Miss Johnson, that park would have never gotten built. But it is, and tomorrow we have a ribbon cutting at Dale at 11:30. I think so. I was almost going to be 30 minutes late. So anyway, that'll be tomorrow. The renovation of the lighthouse. If I just focus in here on the bell tower that Dale and Richard Bradley have been working on, but so important in our community to preserve this site. That church would have gotten torn down if the city hadn't stepped in, I really believe, because it was for sale. We only paid $80,000, which really is not bad. We tore off the education wing. You saw the before and after picture now, so it's pretty much returned to its original state. The Civil's House right across the street here from the Senior Center. Before and after, we have plans for both of those to be used as public buildings for parties and weddings and recitals and showers and those type things. We hope to get those funded pretty quick. I do want to talk to you now about a new plan a lot of you haven't seen before. And we have guys here that's worked on that, and I know Ken's here with Barge Wagner. But this is the Kenny Clemens Recreational Complex, and I'll just walk you through this real quick. It was originally thought we'd build a baseball facility, but the topo is really not conducive, which basically would have tripled the cost. So we tried to just utilize the land. So if you see here, that's the two existing fields. This will be a third soccer field that's there, but it will be lit and irrigated and be on the level of these other two flag football fields, which is just an outstanding program that Dale runs. And if I'll go in here to, this is hiking and mountain biking trails. The terrain for there is pretty rugged, so it'll be great for that. This will be a dog park that a lot of people in the community have wanted, additional pavilions. This will be a disc golf course, a 9-hole disc golf course that is really becoming more and more popular in our area. And I've got a local guy that's been trying to meet with me about this in a week. I can't wait to show him the plan. This is a skate park. Some people might frown, but you know, recreation is all about providing whatever the child likes. And and sometimes skateboarders can get a bad reputation, but there's good kids that like to skateboard. I think I got an insurance agent that can like tear one up if I believe. So anyway, again, it's utilizing the land. It's not totally funded. If you drive by there, you'll see we've had a dozer down there doing some work and doing some clearing. So this will kind of be a work in progress, but we're confident we can see it through. Anybody that watched the news last week, there was a news story that developed, and Joe Knight and I have been talking about this for pretty much ever since I've been elected. But a news story broke because of a meeting they were in. The media was present that they were looking at reopening this. So I'm sitting there watching the news, and I said, Joe, what's going on? And he told me, and so I know the owners of the building, and I see Chuck and John out in the audience, and we had a meeting down there this morning that was positive. They've got to work out the details and the finances. I'm hopeful that will happen. But, you know, being the outstanding county commissioner that Joe Knight is, who is in our audience, and just a really good friend, and a guy that made our slideshow, I don't see he has any choice but to open us up a satellite courthouse in Gardendale. Economics. This past Christmas holiday season, we had the highest sales tax month ever in the history of the city. We did that through teamwork with our local citizens and our chamber in the promotions of the importance of shopping local. We had the highest sales tax month, highest sales tax year in the history of the city. You see this upward trend of sales. We see no reason that's going to change. We've got a lot of confidence in the reports for this year. Residential and construction, commercial construction is blowing it out of the water here. We've got a bulldozer or a backhoe all over town. A lot of things happening. 14, 12 million, 15, 20 million, that number's going to go up again this year. I can assure you. We've talked about the past. I want to look toward the future. This next slide, I truly see as a game changer for our city. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Partnering with UAB, and I think we have some representatives from UAB here today, but I see it as UAB Medicine plus City of Gardendale equals game changer. We're going to capitalize also on the biggest industry and the largest employer in Birmingham, being UAB, in medical. We're drawing that here, beginning late summer. You'll see construction of a 20-something thousand square foot medical office building. And shortly after that, that's about a $7 million project. Next comes this 24-hour freestanding ER. Very few of these in the city. Just think, as a citizen and from a quality of life, how important it's going to be for you or your loved ones to have 24-hour emergency care right beside Buffalo Wild Wings. That's pretty good stuff. And I'm excited. I can't tell you how excited I am. I have to calm down a little bit. But just where you'll know where it's going to be, it's going to be in that shaded area. There'll be those two buildings plus a helipad for the helicopter to land. This is another development that Kerry McAdam has proposed, and as soon as he gets Plaza 2 up and running, right behind there is Plaza 3. You see what kind of a gorgeous development that will be. There's the picture of how it lays out on the property. All right, so I got to explain this next slide because I don't want anybody to go out of here and say the wrong thing. What I'm about to show you is really more of a vision. And I asked Rick to kind of do some work on this. I want to see a Gardendale square between Mount Olive and Fieldstown roads that has lots of landscaping, has lots of sidewalks, lots of green space. And this is one man's vision. So if you see overlays of a church and it's like overlaid like it's not going to be there, please don't pay any attention to that. It's conceptual, okay? But I truly believe you're going to see this develop with being spearheaded by UAB. This is with kind of the way I see it, with some retail, lots of office. The green is the First Baptist Church building. You know, that the right tenant's got to be there. I don't know exactly how they'll end up. But you see a signalized intersection for the new road to UAB. So, and again, don't pay so much attention to the highlight areas, but just grasp the concept of connectivity and walking and green space and landscaping and office and residential. I mean, not residential, retail. Because we've got to, as a city, we've got to increase our daytime numbers. We've got to have more people working in our city. Same area, different concept. So back to that, you know, just different overlays, but an overall theme that I think we'll begin working on in the next administration. The most critical thing that I think for our city now is to develop our next interstate visible site, because that's what was so hard developing Caulfield Square. Most people didn't like it, and because it didn't have interstate visibility. So I'm going to run you through several of these. This is a property across from First Baptist Church. It's about 335 acres. A lot of people refer to it as the Downey property. We've actually gone through Rick and overlaid some potential development, met with some developers, just from a broad range some of the things like you'd expect, a major wholesaler or a major sporting goods or any of these kind of things that you would be thinking we've looked at. This is the property up around Dewbarber Chevrolet. I see that probably as something a little different, but you see the amount of property available there. This is a key area right here. It's a lot of residential homes there. It's across from Walmart and TJ Maxx and Publix, and it has interstate visibility. So it's not hard to figure out. It has a lot of those factors. There's lots of residential homes there. So nobody needs to be alarmed to that, but through the Gardendale Redevelopment Authority and some local realtors, they have been meeting with these property owners. And I'll tell you, when Othell and I went to Atlanta to meet with the Darden restaurant people on a map, and we had this big map laying out on a huge table in a Longhorn restaurant, and the guy said, we were trying to tell him how great Caulfield Square was, and he said, I want to be right there. You know, and Othell liked it because that's where his mama lived. So, but anyway, a lot of stuff. It doesn't. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to realize that has a lot of the characteristics that you want. 27 acres. This is right above Microtel, and that's kind of a combination with two property owners. Again, as a pitch, we overlaid that property, and that's what is being pitched, and it has a lot of the characteristics that people are looking for. The last is one that's really important. It's kind of gotten the most attention here lately, but this is the area between Fieldstown and Walker's Chapel. We've had several meetings on this. Lots of engineering work has been brought to us by the owners, and got to be careful what I say here. So, but also you see partnership because the city owns about 78 acres right in there at the end of Cluster Springs Road, but potentially 600 residential homes, 1.2 million feet of office and commercial space over a unified theme and spread out for a non-commercialized field. So again, and he's got a little wink in here at me that word is there may even be planned an area for a specialized travel ball facility. So we'll see where that goes. So now I need to pull down, because if you know me, I get a little passionate and a little excited. So I think it's important in us as elected officials and our team, and then as chamber members and just as, just with your own family. In everything, give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you, 1 Thessalonians 5:18. And the reason I say that, you're so driven and you work so hard to improve and get better and get this. But we need to sit back and be thankful for what we have sometimes and not take that for granted. Several slides to show you. I love it going down I-65 and seeing that crossing. On this day, had a rainbow above it. These men right here, I couldn't stand up here and not be thankful for, is again, one of my favorite pictures. I had a different relationship with every one of them. They were all good. Starting with Bill Noble, who hired me, and then worked, 12 years with you as mayor, I believe, Kenny, and a long time besides that as councilman, and then I worked for Othell a term and with Othell a term. They all mean a lot to me. They're all great men, and I tell people all the time, and I had a conversation with Kenny the other day. There's no doubt in my mind that when that period of time I was working for Kenny, that I was being prepared for this position when he or I, neither one, knew that I thought Kenny was doing it. I just didn't understand why he had me in some of these meetings that I felt like I didn't have no business being, and I was really intimidated because it was like upper level stuff. And but again, thank you all. I appreciate your friendships. The Civic Center, again, Kenny's vision for this place and the council before, and I just can't imagine this city without this place. Our splash pad, these two little, I had to bring this slide. These two little girls that stayed with Susan and I during the summer, and Sergiana, and can't remember the other name, but Philippines and Nigeria, I believe, but they were just such sweethearts. Celebration Park, our Veterans Memorial Park, the Miracle Field, and oh my goodness, this program, if you've never been there, tell people all the time, if you have never been, you're missing a blessing. Every Friday night, this month and next, at the Miracle Field. I'm almost finished. I know I'm late. I'm sorry. But I'm not going to stand up here and talk about my family because I got the chance. And they're important to me because, again, if you've been a mayor or a councilman, you know how important it is because, you know, we got home last night, I think at 10, guys. And then I have to come home to this lady, and usually she gets to hear all the venting. But you know, I'm so honored to be her husband, and this summer we'll celebrate 36 years, and I love her more today than I did when we first met, and she's such a key member of my team because she's smart, she's an accountant, she's a CPA. I don't get all that stuff. I'm a people guy, I'm not a numbers guy, but she gets it, and so it's another key member of my team. And I just appreciate her so much. That I want to quickly tell you about my last year. My son in April got married, so I gained a daughter in Diana that we love. In August, I was sworn in as mayor in early August. Later in the same month, my daughter got married. I gave away my baby, guys, and y'all know how that is. Some of you guys that have done that or got little girls. And I gained a son-in-law in Chase Hanley. So I got 2 more kids out of this. I want some grandkids if y'all want to pass that on. And I'll tell people that during the month of August, all I did was cry. Because I was emotional about becoming mayor. I was emotional about Chrissy getting married. But just a great year. This is my family today. Just to show y'all how manly I am. Just where there's no doubt, I got this vicious dog that's with me lots of times. And you better not mess with me when my dog's with me. So, I love my family. I am so blessed to serve in this role as mayor. I love it every day. It's got its challenges, but I'm excited about this team that I'm blessed to work with, and this team of department heads that work for y'all every day. We're excited about the growth. We're excited about the prosperity, and I'm excited to be your mayor. And I look forward to this upcoming year. And I truly believe that greater things have yet to be done in this city, and I stand on it every day. And I thank you for being here today.